So do you play Rocket League?
I've played with my 9-year-old nephew.
Okay. How old are you?
50.
50?
Mm-hmm.
So do you have to like take a finger break? Like 30 minutes
I'll tell you one thing.
into gameplay?
I'm a competitive person.
Okay.
And I will beat my 9-year-old nephew at all costs. The problem is he had a PS4 controller and he gave me his Switch controller. And I gotta find an excuse because I just got hammered by this 9-year-old kid. But we went online and we played against these other teams and he carried us for sure.
For sure, I got you.
And yes, I had to give my fingers. Austin, first of all, you're a super likable guy on camera. Then when you showed up today with these guys, you're like a legit nice guy. Where's that come from?
My mom. You know, if I wasn't a nice guy, I'd be probably a dead guy.
Your mom would do it?
Yeah, nah. My parents, man, they've always just, treat people the way you want to be treated, you know, love on people, be kind to people. It goes a long way. So it's always been just a part of me. It comes from my parents.
What do you think of the team so far?
A really cool team. Like, everybody seems close knit, and not just the team. Everybody seems pretty close knit. I see the camaraderie. So, that family atmosphere is something that I, take very personally, and I think it's a cool thing. So, it seems like some really genuine dudes and seem like cool people.
I started full-time with Dignitas as Director of Performance in January. My priority with them was like to provide some context for their young players. There's a lot of pressure, that you play in front of all those people at that age. So how do we handle that pressure? How do we normalize it? How do we focus on ourselves and what we can control? I assume you've taken that approach in your own career as well?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just, having a foundation. And once I got to the point in my life where I was like, okay, this is something bigger than just football. You know what I mean? And people have different motives, you know what I mean? And it's okay. But whatever that why is outside of yourself, that whenever you are not feeling like, you want to wake up and go to work or wake up and, do this or do that, once you find that, it changes your perspective. It makes things mean more. You know what I'm saying? And so I found that for myself, and it seems like those guys, have found that.
Do you remember what your why was? I mean, you were grinding at that time, right?
Yeah.
Walking on to, just about to walk on to college football?
Yeah, my why was honestly, I felt like God blessed me with just some work ethic, you know what I mean? I wanted to maximize on that. I wanted to do it for my family. I wanted to do it just for the people that believed in me, throughout my entire life, but I would, there are a lot of things that motivate me. A lot of things that motivate me, for sure. Bigger than myself. I wasn't really thinking about what it could give me, but just, being able to accomplish something and do something that my family would be proud of.
Yeah. My area is performance. That's your world. You work in a world and live in a world where performance matters. I come from a traditional sport background, which is half of your background now. You're kind of doing both from an academic perspective. And then going into this world of gaming and esports has been a really exciting, like just learning what it takes to be successful. What do you think, being that you're in both worlds, are the crossovers between like performance in traditional sport settings and performance in esports settings, being that you play both? Could you just talk about like the parallels between those?
To be honest with you, I think that you can experience fatigue in both realms, you know what I mean? And to be honest with you, the nervousness that I've experienced, like playing with pros, or it's nervousness, you know what I mean? Like it's a general feeling, and I would say like that before when I'm about to step out onto a field, the same nervousness as when I'm about to play against somebody that's like that dude or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So like the nervousness is just kind of a general thing. You know what I mean? So as far as obviously with playing traditional sports, there's more of the physical aspect of it too. So it's not just the mental, exertion, it's also physical exertion. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like I said, you still have that nervousness element, and it can impact your game regardless of what you're doing, whether it's physical or mental. You know what I mean? So
every time you've ever performed your best, the nerves have been there. I guarantee it. So those are your friends. Like, bring them with you. So the goal is not to not be nervous. Is to control it, regulate it.
Right.
What have you done in your career to deal with that, to control or regulate those nerves?
Basically, what you're saying, like, I think you should embrace it. You know what I mean? Because I think, not all stress is bad stress. There is some good stress too, and like the fact that you are stressed out or you're nervous, that means you care about it. You know what I mean? Like, it means something to you, which is a good thing. So I say use that energy that you get from that nervousness, you know what I mean, and incorporate it in some way, shape, or form to your game. You know what I mean? Like, you get a little bit of that adrenaline, you get a little bit of that fight or flight response, and it can ultimately help you, but it comes down to mindset as well. You know what I mean? So if you're thinking about like doubt, you know what I mean, like that nervousness, it's like, the emotion's there, but what's going on in your mind? You know what I mean? So it's like a mental game too. So that nervousness can lead you to think that you're gonna do poorly, or you can be like, I'm nervous, but dang, this means something to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited. I'm anticipating what's about to happen. So it's just kind of about, your mindset and how you approach that emotion, because it's not really gonna change. It's just how your perspective of that emotion.
Yeah. How old were you when you first started playing organized sports? I think you played soccer or something.
So I did a bunch of sports camps growing up, but organized sports started in middle school.
One of the things I've noticed in the esports industry, when you're a young athlete and a traditional sport athlete, you've got coaches, sometimes athletic trainers, but there's sort of a approach to training that you learn at a young age. You know that diet matters, you know that sleep matters, you know that stress management matters. You know that stretching matters. You know that all these preparation factors matter. And I think in traditional sports settings, you're taught that. It's just part of it. You know that you have to be in bed at a certain time and get up at a certain time. And the thing that I think is tricky about esports as they currently exist is you've got kids who grew up playing on their own without like this structured approach. And then they display great talent and skill, then they get signed. And now all of a sudden, they're these professional players who hadn't yet been taught the need to approach this like performance, like an athletic performance. And it's something that I think is a big priority of mine, is the biggest challenge that I've seen. In the traditional sport world, by the time they get to the professional level, you guys already knew about training and strength and sleep and diet and mentality and stuff, and I think a lot of these players don't have that same background when they come here.
And that's why I'm so excited about the industry, because I truly believe that whenever that step is made, and guys being put in place like yourself, that are able to step into these positions, and kind of bring awareness to those areas, you know what I'm saying, that they may have neglected or not even been aware of, until they get to the pros. I just think that as they continue to adjust and they realize that, the industry is just going to continue to trend upward. You know what I mean? So, but I think that's huge. I think it's huge, the way that you carry yourself, the way that you take care of your body, your habits, or from a physical standpoint in football or in professional, traditional sports, that's what determines your longevity. You know what I mean? How well, it's not, and those habits aren't necessarily for whenever you're young and in your prime, it's for year 5, year 6, year 7, year 8. And so just those habits, they can make or break you.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay. You've been coached by a lot of really good coaches in your life. What tips do you have for me going into this coaching situation? Knowing the players that you know them, what would you tell me to do to be effective?
I think you can never go wrong with energy, but also, you have a unique opportunity to be able to see these guys every day. You know what I mean? And so each individual is different, and so you can motivate guys based on that. Each individual is different, but you can never go wrong with energy. You know what I mean? You can kind of gauge as they scrim, you know what I mean? You can kind of gauge where the team morale is at. Is it high? Is it low? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but individually, everybody is different. So as you continue to connect with them and get to know them better, you know, you'll be able to, you'll know.
So no technical stuff. You say to stay away from that?
No,
I'm kidding. I'm staying away from that. Just I have the best advice for you. Just drive the ball into the goal. That's all I gotta say, right?
Score goals, baby. Score goals. Score more than the other team. And then we win.